Welcome to Mind Shield. We protect the mind and pursue the truth. Let's get started.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a type of harassment that is so effective, some have called it the boring monster. Now, why boring? Well, because it doesn't need secret technology or sci-fi weapons to work. It's done with ordinary, everyday tools, but when they're used in a malicious way, the results can be absolutely devastating. So let's kick things off with this really crucial idea. Before we even touch on claims of exotic advanced attacks, we have to understand the known battlefield of coercion. Because when someone's life is being systematically taken apart, the answer isn't always, oh, nothing happened. A lot of the time, it's that someone is getting very ugly by weaponizing the mundane. All right, let's get into it. Here's our roadmap. First, we'll map the common tactics. Then we'll pull apart the attacker's playbook. After that, we'll look at the psychological toll this takes. And then, and this is key, we'll build a framework for how to defend yourself and what legal options you have. So let's get started. First up, we need to map the terrain. To defend against any kind of threat, you have to understand the weapons being used against you. And in this case, those weapons are often hiding in plain sight. These are the classic tools, the usual suspects, right? Stalking, doxing, hacking, spreading rumors, blackmail. But here's the thing. An attacker rarely uses just one of these. They layer them. They create this multi-front assault that's specifically designed to overwhelm you. Understanding each one of these pieces is the very first step to getting clarity and building a case that people will actually take seriously. So, how does an attacker actually combine these tools to systematically break someone down? Well, it's not random. It often follows this chillingly logical playbook that's designed for maximum psychological damage. See, this isn't just a chaotic attack. It's a phased assault. It starts with reconnaissance, quietly gathering every little piece of information about you. Then it escalates. They work to isolate you from your friends and family. They damage your reputation. Then comes the covert harassment, weird little things that make you question your own sanity. And finally, they hit your pressure points, your job, your family, your finances. And these methods are not new. Not by a long shot. The East German secret police, the Stasi, they perfected this technique called Zersetzung. It literally translates to decomposition or corrosion. It was this quiet, covert assault on a person's soul, using rumors, manipulation, and interference to make people feel totally alone and doubt their own minds. And we see those exact same principles in the playbooks of high-control cults and, of course, in today's digital harassment campaigns. The whole goal here is to create a world where you feel constantly under siege. I mean, think about it. An attacker might remotely trigger your car alarm at 3 a.m. night after night. They might hack your computer and subtly change a few words in an important work email, making you look incompetent. They could send fake, nasty messages from your accounts to turn your friends against you. Every single tactic is designed to be deniable, to create that feeling that someone is inside my life, making you question what's real and who on earth you can trust. And all of it builds toward the real target. The technical stuff, the hacking, the rumors, they're just the means to an end. The true battlefield is the mind. This is psychological warfare, pure and simple, waged against one person. Look, the ultimate objective here isn't just to cause pain or to annoy someone. It is domination. It's about shattering a person's identity, their autonomy. It's about breaking their will so the perpetrator can impose their own will on every single aspect of the victim's life. This kind of relentless pressure creates this cascade of devastating psychological effects. The target's nervous system is just redlining, pushed into this state of hypervigilance, constantly scanning for threats. Their sense of reality starts to fray because they can't trust their own perceptions anymore. This leads to this profound sense of isolation and despair, and ultimately a total loss of agency, that feeling that you are powerless to stop the assault. This quote from one of our sources is just haunting. It perfectly captures the end goal of all this. The tactics are designed to cut the target off from any support system, from anyone who could offer a reality check. Because when your friends and family start to doubt you, the attacker wins. They've left their target completely alone in a nightmare that no one else can even see. Okay, so faced with this kind of multi-front psychological assault, how in the world do you fight back? Well, it requires a really crucial shift in your mindset. You have to go from being a victim to becoming an investigator of your own life. You have to become methodical, disciplined, and absolutely laser-focused on evidence. This, right here, this is the single most important rule of self-defense in this entire situation. You have to rigidly separate objective observation from subjective interpretation. An observation is, my alarm didn't go off. An interpretation is, they sabotaged my phone. Sticking to the hard facts, the things you can actually prove, is absolutely essential. This discipline keeps you from being psychologically played, and it is the foundation for building a credible, evidence-based case that other people will finally take seriously. Now, to help maintain that neutral, investigative stance, a term like CNSI is incredibly useful. It stands for covert neurosensory intrusion. It's intentionally broad and clinical sounding. It allows us to talk about these hybrid attacks, which can mix cyber, social, and other weird stuff without using language that's emotionally loaded or speculative. It keeps the focus squarely on the evidence. So here's your first practical investigative step. Do a threat scan on your own personally identifiable information, your PII. What can a stranger learn about you from a simple search? Have your passwords been leaked in a data breach? Lock down your accounts, use strong passwords, turn on two-factor authentication, and most importantly, document everything. Your logbook, filled with dated entries, screenshots, and factual observations, becomes your single most powerful weapon. Seriously. So, once your evidence is meticulously organized, you can start to engage the system for official help. Now, it's not always easy, and you have to be persistent, but there are channels available if you approach them with a clear, credible case. When you go to law enforcement, a well-documented objective case is absolutely essential. Don't show up with a chaotic story. Show up with a binder. Give them a printed summary of your incident log. Show them the objective evidence, screenshots, IP logs, recordings. You have to make their job easier by connecting the dots with facts. And remember to document your interactions with them too. Get names, get report numbers. And beyond filing criminal reports, don't forget that the civil court system can be an incredibly powerful tool. You can often petition for a restraining order based on a preponderance of the evidence, which is a lower bar to clear than the beyond a reasonable doubt standard in a criminal case. And if you get that order, the harasser's on formal notice. If they continue the behavior, they are now violating a court order, which can lead to immediate arrest. Okay, so we've mapped the monster's playbook, we've outlined the defender's strategy, and it all comes down to one final essential principle that applies to everyone, whether you're the person going through this, a friend trying to help, or just someone trying to understand. This piece of ancient wisdom is a direct call to action. The first story, whether that's nothing is happening, you're just imagining it, or I'm being targeted by some vast conspiracy, it always sounds compelling at first. But the truth and the path forward is found in careful, disciplined examination of the facts. And that is the foundation we absolutely need to have. By truly understanding just how much psychological damage can be done with these non-exotic methods, we build a solid baseline for any investigation. It prepares us to ask the next, much more difficult question. What do we do when the evidence starts to point to something beyond the ordinary? Join us for our next explainer, as we explore how to compare official narratives, allegations, and evidence in more anomalous cases without completely going off the rails.